Courtney, welcome back to my channel and I hope you are doing so very well. Today I'm going to do a quick flip of my 2020 Hobonichi. I will give you a disclaimer now. There are pages that are not finished, pages that are blank, pages that are just decorated but not filled out. It is a real snapshot into how my journaling went last year and how I felt last year. Generally, I don't journal when I am going through some anxiety or some depression, and it's very prevalent within the pages of these journals. Now, another thing to note was this was an original cousin and I did journal surgery on it to split it in half because it just got too fat and too cumbersome, and that means that my monthlies and weekly pages ended up in one book, which is why my weeklies and half my monthlies didn't get filled out, because I was just touting around this book and didn't want to jump between the two books. Obviously this year I went with the Avec, which I will show you quickly at the end of this video. I will do a 2021 lineup video. I'm just waiting on a few little bits and pieces to come in the mail, an order from Lacau and also a order from Plotter, so I'm just waiting for those to come and then I will do that video. But I thought I'd just give you a quick look at how my journaling went last year, since I didn't really post about it that much. That was one of the things that I noticed. My social media presence was also very scarce, but 2020 dumpster fire year. So I will have a video also coming on how I did these tiny prints for my monthly pages. I've already done the tutorial over on Patreon, and I will probably do a tutorial for YouTube as well. So I decided to start using my monthly pages as a ways to document the one photo a day or like a highlight or something like that. It did mean that some pages didn't have, like some numbers didn't have photos, so I was just using some meatball washi tape, which I get from Paper Game Co on Etsy. A lot of the illustrations you see here are mine and from Patreon collage sheets. I will be working really hard to try and get some of my collage sheets up on Etsy this year. More on Etsy, I should say. There are some on Etsy, but not too many, but I will be attempting to do that. There's a lot of goals I'd like to achieve this year. So this is kind of how my monthly spreads looked, and I enjoyed coloring it in. I enjoyed picking monthly photos. I created albums on my phone for each month and then just went through the photos because I caught up on a lot of these pages after the fact, once I figured out a way to streamline it and a way to make it fast to do. So this is about when my monthly pages stopped because I switched books. And then you can see my weekly pages. I was trying to work out exactly what I wanted to do with them, and I started using them for gratitude. So anything that was gratitude related from that day, something I was grateful for. As you can see, I have spaces where nothing really happens or I am not in the mood to journal. But I do my very best to try and keep up with it. I am trying to be a bit more consistent this year, but we shall see. The black dog likes to pounce on you at times when you're not really ready to take on the world. So I use a lot of stickers and collage elements. I use a plethora of different markers and things, numbers, you name it. I use a mixture of highlighters, clean colors, Tombow markers, a lot of things. I will endeavor to do a video on about my favorite supplies to use in my Hobonichi, because I do get a lot of questions about what I use in these pages. So this is more of the meatball washi tape. I am absolutely obsessed. I have quite a collection now, and I'm forever wanting more. So there are like weeks where things didn't go so well, and this is about when we went into lockdown. I was in lockdown during my birthday. But yeah, like I said, 2020 was just not the best year for anyone, I don't think. And so there's lots of gaps and feeling a bit blah and all that jazz. Not to say that 2021 is going to be any different. July is about when I split the book. And then I started off my Hobonichi with a goal of to ignore the dates and to just go with the flow and use it as I saw fit. And I had moments where I liked that, and then I decided that I was going to try and daily journal. I don't know why I decided to do that, but I did. I tried to do reading sections and just general decoration, page decoration, then come back and write in them, and like I said, ignore the dates. I tried using it as a more bullet journal trial with printables, migraine trackers, sleep trackers, and like I said, it wasn't really working for me. I was enjoying the decorating like a lot because collage is one of my love languages, and I got to around February when I was like, okay, I think I want to start doing more daily journaling. No, it was March, and I think it was because my girlfriend and I, Sian, decided that we would try and do daily journaling together as like a I'm not quite sure, a challenge to each other. I don't know how well we went, but it's around the time when Animal Crossing was about to come in. I do have an Animal Crossing journal as well, which I have had a lot of fun playing around in. So there's a lot of mixture of things, illustrations, Patreon things, tip-ins, photographs, lots of different odds and ends, wax seals. This is actually a recreation of one of my daughter's drawings that I really loved. This was just before we went into lockdown. This is the store that sells quite a plethora of beautiful things, Paper Game Co. on Etsy. I will pop them down below if you're interested. I'm not affiliated or anything, I just really love their store. So there's lots of different things. This is when I got my Animal Crossing stuff from Fox and Cactus. There's gaps. This is where my birthday was. Yeah, we decided to do like daily journaling, and then we went to lockdown. It was just also depressing, really. And then I didn't journal for a really long time because, like I said, it was super just depressing and and every now and again I go through stages where I don't journal at all, and then I try and get back onto the trolley. And obviously I went through a whole heap of depressing feelings because a lot of these beautiful pages, these beautiful spreads were done because I had a Patreon video due and I had to force myself to create on camera. And so these pages are generally because I had an obligation, and I am grateful to do so. I'm very grateful that I have my job as it is, and so I made sure that I showed up and I worked in my journal. And then there'll be pages where there's nothing, and then there'll be pages where there is things because I had work to do and I was, you know, trying to be the inspirational person that people need me to be in this time. And sometimes doing something creatively creates a domino effect, and we are once you start that domino effect, it kind of just picks up speed and keeps going. So it's kind of like fake it till you make it, and that's how I definitely feel about journaling sometimes. And sometimes the fact that I have to come to the table and work on my journal on camera for Patreon and talk about journaling and talk about all those sort of things that are my passion and my love language really does help inspire me to get a bit more into my journal. So I'm very, very grateful for my patrons in that fact that they are there as a creative obligation, but also as almost like a spark that I can grow into a fire. And sometimes it works a treat, and sometimes it's just like pushing literal shit uphill, basically. So a lot of these beautiful tip-ins. I got my ring from Katie Met Soda. Again, like I said, journaling for 2020 was just not that great, and I think a lot of people struggle to find a normal, struggle to find any sense. Some people went deep into their journals and some people just went deep into themselves, and I was definitely someone who went deep into themselves. All these pages, I started having city dates with a girlfriend that I met at the pen show one year, and we have been meeting up as often as we could after lockdown and things. So this was a Patreon video, and it's like I said, my Patreon videos, they really make me push myself and go, okay, it's time to push a little bit harder, draw and paint and try things that you wouldn't normally do if you were just journaling for yourself. Some of my favorite pages are Patreon videos, because they really do force me to be a little bit more creative and to try and push the envelope just a little bit more. So this is the second section of my hobo. Obviously there's no monthlies and no weeklies in this. It is just lots of different bits and pieces, cards from friends. I had an apron made, a beautiful chore apron made by my lovely friend Lisa, and this was the cute little tag with the little fabric in it. I love it. Trying to support as many small businesses as I can, especially Aussie ones, and try and help out the creatives of the world who are feeling it. I love lots of tip-ins. I shouldn't probably use as many as I do, because my spines tend to not cope so well, but I do love a good tip-in. If in doubt, I say tip it in, which is probably not the best not the best advice to be giving. I baked a lot during lockdown. I made a lot of bread. I cooked a lot. We started a herb garden, a vegetable garden. I mean, in terms of the lockdown and things and the pandemic, it has forced our family to slow right down. Juggling homeschooling when we had the school shut down was super difficult to try and be creative, try and be a mum, a wife, and all those sorts of things. And I know there are so many of us that are dealing with the same sorts of feelings. It really takes a toll on us mentally, and I wish that I'd spent more time within the pages of my journal instead of trying to internalize everything, because I know I always feel better when I journal and when I get it out onto a page. And I think I spent a lot of my time thinking that my journal had to be beautiful because I am an influencer and I am someone who puts my work out into the world, and I have tried very hard to try and stop that and just let myself journal the way I want to, and to not worry about what people will think about what my pages look like. So I have these inner demons just as much as anyone else, just because I have been journaling for a huge chunk of my life, and my art is literally everywhere with Patreon collage sheets. I still have these creative doubts that everyone else does. I'm always comparing myself, which is terrible because comparison is the thief of joy, and I need my word for this year is repair, and so I'm trying to repair my mindset, repair my health, repair a whole lot of things in my life, and my general way of journaling for others is something that I want to stomp out completely. This is one of my favorite spreads. It was a trip to go visit my family. Once we could finally go and visit my family, we took a trip to Inverell, which is rural New South Wales. We weren't allowed to go there for quite a long time because we were in Sydney, and the rural areas of Australia were like no-go zones. You weren't allowed to go to rural country towns because they were almost in their own bubble, and they didn't want city people going into the country town. So my family lives in a country town, so I hadn't gotten to see them in a really long time. And so because all our plans for traveling this year got squashed, I wanted to make a little travel inspired journal spread. So I printed out the map. I have like Polaroids and things of all the places. We actually went on a little bit of a drive with my sister out into a little I guess like a camping area for the day. It was a really long drive, but it was so worth it, and something that I just absolutely loved to bits. I enjoyed a whole 2 days of just spending time with family, and it really shows within the pages of this journal spread. I've got hubby asleep and my little niece, who is just one of my favorite people. She's just the best. So there's lots of good memories attached to this spread. I do a challenge, or I was doing a challenge over on Patreon each month, and we were doing prompts that were thrown together by the Inkies. I'm trying to think of a new challenge to do with them this year. So there's, again, lots of bits and pieces using old photographs, sort of trying to document as much as possible. Gaps and things, filming day. These are all collage sheets, odds and ends sort of slipped in here. I did a lot of monsters inside their homes, like at windows and things. I did lots of journaling on spare bits of paper for the week. This was kind of like, because I wasn't doing my weekly spreads in my weekly section of my hobo, I was trying to put my gratitude onto like tip-ins of paper to see if I liked how that felt. So lots of different tip-ins. This is a broccoli plant that flowered that I could see out through my window in my studio. Gaps. This was a journal meetup with Marissa and a meetup with my two besties. This is a picture of Michelle Obama journaling. This is a picture of my dad back in his heyday, and him now, who I just adore. I absolutely adore him. Hubby. I like to use big photographs to cover up journaling if it's something that is a bit something that I don't want the world to see, I guess. I don't want the world to read, so I generally will use tip-ins as a way to cover up sensitive journaling. Silly photos, postcards. This didn't work as well as I wanted to. I laminated a cherry blossom that my daughter had brought home, but because the stick had come out the end, the air got into it, so it faded all the pink. It looked beautiful for a little while, and then the pink kind of faded. Another journaling meetup. Father's Day. This was around Halloween. Journaling some of my favorite supplies, or my new supplies, and hauling some of my items. I did try and put little notes to myself on if I came back to my actual journal, but it never really happened. Documenting my 5-year cover, our first beetroot, my current favorite washi tapes, listening to the Stationery Cafe. My dad's birthday. I lost a dear friend of mine, and so I kind of journaled it out and created a monster for her. And this is where it kind of stops a little bit. I was very heartbroken about losing my friend, and it definitely showed by my lack of motivation to journal. Another Katie Met Soda, and then I have like bits and pieces sort of in here to journal, which never really happened. I picked up a well, I got lucky and my girlfriend Marissa had a spare olive edition. When she thought she had lost hers, she reordered it and hers obviously turned up, and I was lucky enough to purchase her second one. This must have been Halloween. So my picture of the pumpkin last time must have been when we picked up the Halloween head. My sister did some special effects makeup, which I thought was really cool. My beautiful mug by Lola and Olive. Just playing around with tip-ins and stickers and vellum and illustrations. This is when I got the Cosmo Air paper. I think this is where the year kind of gets a bit blurry and a bit busy, and I tried my very best to do some December daily, and we'll talk about that in another video. So those are my two, I guess my one but two Hobonichis for 2020. And let me just pull out something. This is my current A5 for 2021, so I'll just give you a quick look. This is the sweet pink leather cover. I was so glad when it came back after being out of stock and sold out. I couldn't find it anywhere, and the second chance sale they had it back and I nabbed it. I was like, I'm not letting it go, not anymore. So I have that, and I like to cover my A5s instead of tucking them into both covers. I do enjoy that, so I decorate the book each time. And my other one I haven't decorated yet, I'll decorate it later. So catnip illustration, my kids. So that is currently how she looks. Lots of stuff stuffed in the back as per usual. I have the mother paper, what do you call them, writing boards in the back, because I really liked how the green and the pink looked. I have a plethora of odds and sods in my pockets, going very pink themed with this one. Normally I'm in a brown leather cover. I've got a pocket in here with a Leigh Ellickson Patreon postcard, which I love. This is just a little Daiso pocket. I haven't worked out what I want to do here. I may do some tracking, not quite sure. I have already done my December in here, and I'm now at the point where I'm about to start decorating January, because I generally wait till the middle of the month when I've got enough photographs to print on one 4x6, because I print them on 4x6 photo paper, so I want to make sure I can fill that whole thing. So when I get to about halfway through the month is when I'll actually decorate, and then I print the last at the end. So this will be the next video for Patreon, is decorating my monthly and my weekly. So my weekly pages look like this. Again, the same thing, gratitude list. I really liked being mindful about things and trying to be more grateful. The weekly started on the 28th of December. So they are here for you to look at. Sometimes I didn't get to it, sometimes I did. And this is the week that has just gone by. And then this is today, so I've got to decorate my weekly pages for there. And I'll give you a sneak peek at some of my daily pages. I am behind, but what's new, really? A lot of, this is acetate. This is my calendar for Patreon. I just printed it on a 4x6. I did a lot of quick sort of bits and pieces. These are pages I need to catch up on. This is when we went to go see my family for our Christmas, which got delayed 3 times because of COVID. So I'm currently in the middle of just finishing off the journaling for that. Spending some time with family, doing a puzzle. Basically driving home is all we did because it's an 8.5 hour drive. This one, our car the next day decided it didn't want to work. And then I've got a girl date, And I've got a few bits and pieces, and it's my niece's birthday on Sunday, and then I've got a couple of things in here. So like I said, not much because it's still very new, but we're trying our best, which is all I can expect to do, or try to do, I guess. Trying to be not so down on myself, and trying really hard to just take each day as it comes. And some days are going to be very minimal, like I may just talk about my niece's birthday on this page, and just try to not throw everything into a page. And that's kind of been my downfall. I have tried throwing everything into journal pages and getting down when they don't look amazing. So I really enjoyed the fact that I gave myself permission to be minimal as I am on this page, and that kind of reminded me that I can be minimal. So that is a look into my Hobonichi pages. I know they're not filled and they're not completely amazing, but I would rather share and show you what I worked on and give you an insight into what I did last year for journaling, since I have been rather quiet on social media, and just to let you know that it's okay. It's okay if your journal's not full, and it's okay if you get to a daily page or you don't get to a daily page. The world is very topsy-turvy at the moment, and if you need a permission slip, I will write you one. Just do what you can and enjoy it while you're doing it, because what is the point of journaling if you don't enjoy it? I just think journaling should be a relaxing, inspiring, fulfilling process, and it shouldn't be something that you dread doing each day. And that is all I'm going to say on the matter. I hope you've had an enjoyable experience hanging out with me in my journal pages, and I hope that I will see you again very soon. I'm going to try my best to juggle as many of these YouTube videos as I possibly can, starting with that monthly layout video for you if you're interested. Take care, my loves, and stay safe and mask up, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!